Hey, I see. Oh, just a second ago, I saw something that said one little eyeball.
Yeah, yeah, it showed for a second. Let's see. All right. There we go. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Good Lord. So now I can see over here. Oh, I better turn that down. All right. So I see the playback finally working. I don't know what happened there. And now it is 9:18. So I'm sure everybody was like gone. So we're going to have to do something here. Um, if you can send out the link, I will too, because that just did not work right tonight. What's up, people? It's your man Black Cobra, the Wheel Life Show. I apologize for technical difficulties. I did the rookie mistake of updating the software right before this started, and everything was not connecting and was not working right. So I had to restart computers and restart everything. EUC me, what's up? Yeah, what's going on? Roger, what's up, buddy? Yeah, man. Oh, thank you, man. Glad you jumped in. Appreciate you. Good to see you, Roger. My man, Roger. And yeah, at EUC me. Yes, sir. We're here. Rob was on time. I was on time, but the software was not on time. Tonight was probably the first time I've ever had the entire thing just not work for me right off the bat. Ecamm Live is the software I use, and it's fantastic. I love it. Usually a 10 out of 10, but I guess user error tonight because I certainly should not have redid it and updated it right away, right before the show. Won't do that again. But anyway, welcome everybody. I know we're going to be restreaming this back, and people will be jumping in a little bit, and people will be able to check it out later. But I'm happy to be here once again with the Wheel Life Show, and I have my man, the one and only Rob Fail from Next Gen Mobility and Wheel Good Time. What's
Thank you
up,
so
buddy?
much.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And I know you're probably stressed after all those technical difficulties, but
Mm-hmm.
good to see that we got it all worked out.
Yeah, I'm very glad we finally got it all worked out. And I see all your boxes and stuff behind you. I know that you, my friend, have a lot going on right now. So I want to
Yeah.
give you an opportunity, definitely, to talk about some of the things that you got going on, and give us a heads up as to what you got happening in the future. But for right now, what's going on in the world of next gen mobility and Rob Fail?
Oh, well, right now we're in the process of moving um, the business, moving my family, moving my home to Arizona, about 45 minutes away from Tucson. Very excited about it. The reason why we're moving is because we were not placed, or we were placed here in California originally without really our input. um, I, I'm getting out of active duty in the Coast Guard. I've been doing this both next gen mobility and active duty, and so needless to say, I don't sleep. Um, and I've been doing both for quite a while, and
Wow.
now I'm finally getting out. As of the end of this week, we are um, washing my hands of active duty, shifting just to
Nice.
reserves, and moving to a location of my choice. I actually didn't choose to move originally to the North Bay area in California, even though it's been glorious weather and it's like this little oasis on Earth in many ways. I'm very eager for what happens next. I never planned on, frankly, on never even being a dealer in the first place. I never planned on moving to California. It was when I gave the Coast Guard my list of picks. I said, here's my list, all these options, and all of them were on the East Coast. And they said, well, this looks like some really nice toilet paper, and they're like, here's your options. You can go to California, or you can go to Guam, or you can go to Alaska. And I said, we'll do California. Okay, but now that that time is coming to an end, now I'm moving to a location of my choice, and
Ah,
we've been bursting at the seams with storage space, EUC inventory. There's a there's a shortage of it here, and so now we're moving to a location where we'll have about 3 to 4 times more storage space. So now we don't have to worry nearly as much about when the next shipment arrives. What are we going to do about the space? How are we going to clear out space for this shipment that's going to be here in like a week or two? Now we don't really have nearly that stress anymore. So it's very exciting.
yeah. Sounds like it is. Shouts out to Ruben in the chat. Ruben! Ruben said there's good people out in Arizona. I've never been, but I plan on it.
I'm looking forward to it. Every interaction I've had. Okay, let me be real. I saw my new house for about 3 days. My wife and kids are already there, and they're in love. My few days that I spent there, it was fantastic. So, and the people were great for the few days that I was there. So, you know, very excited. It's going to be good.
Well, EUC Amid says, thank you for your service and Godspeed on your new journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate you. Me and Rob finally had a good conversation the other day, at which time we both learned that we're military men. And I didn't realize that you were active duty still and doing what you're doing. So I definitely take my hat off to you because trying to do both is really difficult. In the new place that you're moving to, your house has more room. So are you still working out of your house and you're going to use like your garage for your business, or do you have a facility?
Yes to both. The place I will have a home office, but also on that property there's a separate warehouse
Oh,
that is going to be dedicated to next gen mobility. It's going to have a ship station. It's going to have, all of the inventory there. Workshop for maintaining and repairing wheels as needed. So it's nice that there's going to be a dedicated zone for NGM.
okay. So next gen mobility compound.
Kind of, more or less.
So do you have riding space and land in that compound?
Uh, yeah, off the, in the general area,
General
yes.
area, okay.
I'll have to ride my EUC to the mailbox, long driveway. But beyond that, it's not like the whole house. You know, there's not hundreds of acres or anything like that for trail riding. There's thousands of acres outside the
Yeah.
property because it's roads.
Well, I got excited. I was like, "Oh, I'm taking a trip." but
Welcome to visit and
I
stay.
did I did see that the Arizona area has, like I said to you, tons of greenways and trails and stuff for you to ride on. And from what I understand from Nick, Big Boy, Fast Boy, shouts out to Nick. What's up, buddy? Him and Liv, they were saying how they can go city to city to city and never have to really touch a street because there's a lot of greenways and trailways and stuff to ride on. And I was really jealous. So sounds like you're gonna have a whole lot of area to ride. So I'm excited for you, bro.
Yeah, well, thank you. I can't wait. I'm just itching to just turn the chapter to the new page, whatever, however the saying goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be
Well,
awesome.
it's good that you were able to choose where you're going. Because for those, if there's anybody else in the chat or listening to this that is military, you know that, especially if you're active duty, he's absolutely right. You can pick wherever you want, but if Uncle Sam says that's not where you're going, then that's not where you're going. So
Yeah, for sure.
you end up being voluntold where you're going.
It's absolutely right.
Nice choices. Here's your new address.
Uh, that's been the story for 15 years.
Yeah. Well, I would. I mean, there's a lot of people that would. love to have lived in California though. Um, there's there's people in like other areas that saw California and were like, yeah. So, but I did have one question. What really made you choose Arizona though? Like, what about it specifically?
So many different factors. I, Number one, you got to be close enough to the port of Los Angeles for
Hmm.
shipments.
Okay.
If In order to be a competitive dealer, in my opinion, of electric unicycles, it has to be somewhat, kind of, sort of, in the region of the port of Los Angeles because
Okay.
electric unicycles go from China to LA. And the further away you go from Los Angeles, the longer it's going to take for people to get their wheels. And so
Ah.
I were to live, say, for example, and if Next Gen Mobility were located in New York City, for example, hats off to the dealers in New York City. I don't know if there's more than one. Anyway, anyway, you can get an EUC cargo shipment sent to the port of New York, but it's going to take significantly longer, like 2 weeks longer, give or take.
Mm.
And it has to go through the Panama Canal, and it just turns you into a not competitive EUC dealer
Right.
when other people are able to get their wheels 2 weeks faster than you consistently.
Yeah.
Um, and also just the environment. I mean, we're moving to an area that's not like Phoenix hot, and it's kind of out there, more in the sticks, and so secure, and also lower cost of living too. That's here in the Bay Area. It's insanity, and so we're eager to get away from that and the crazy income taxes that California charges. So it's economic largely, but we also just like the area.
Okay. So did you go and visit a little bit and then figure that out, or did you pull up a map and go eeny, meeny, miny, mo?
Mostly option two, and a whole lot of this, a whole lot of thinking about it, a whole lot of stressing about it, a whole lot of coin tossing. Not really coin tossing, but
Yeah.
pros and cons lists, and then
Yeah.
we where we settled on.
Well, I'm glad you got a choice, a home base, and I can hear it in your voice that you're anxious to get there and get yourself set up. So I look forward to that. So how long you think before you're set up there? Another 2 3 weeks or
Oh,
longer?
probably at most. I mean, my family's there already, and so they're working night and day um, to
Get the
get
place
stuff.
ready.
But yeah, it's probably not going to be truly like next gen mobility is going to be well, it's still fully operational.
Right.
So it's like we have about a quarter, give or take, of the inventory still here, and the rest of it is already over there. So now in a couple days, we're going to be scooping up the rest of our remaining inventory that we have and making the drive over there, and then just conducting business straight from there. So from a business perspective, there's no
Right.
continuity. It's
So
it's just getting all the boxes for the home stuff. Also, that's another story. Maybe a few weeks.
how long is the drive from old
Uh,
home to new home?
you got to go through San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Tucson to get there. So on a bad day, about 21 hours, but on a good day, about 14 hours.
Woo! I only did that once. I drove from Massachusetts to Florida and 24-hour trip, and I did it in 22. Um,
Wow.
but we only stopped to pee, grab a bite, and keep moving. And it was just me and my son in a car packed to move him to college down in Florida.
Oh,
I never
man.
want to do that again. But if he comes back with his car, I might have to fly down and drive back with him again. So I'm hoping not, but he's got a girlfriend down there now, so I don't know that he's even coming back. So when he's done with school, we'll see.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, tough though. Long drive.
Yeah, yeah. Long drives suck. So shouts out to Kilted Cuban, my man. Was that you at the Wheel Life Rally with the kilt on last year that took the fall and did a kilt flip and got up and told me, well, you remember what you said. Was that you? Let me know if this is the same guy because it looks like him in the photo. Were you the kilt wearer at the Wheel Life Rally last year? Before I go any further. Oh, Florida. Oh, that's where my son is. Um, I'm assuming you answered that first. So, or are you in Florida? Talk to me. Were you the one at the Wheel Life Rally last year with the kilt on? Um, oh, Quinn Foster, what's up? Oh no, it wasn't you. Not you. He said I saw that guy. Okay. Looking at your photo, I'm like, it kind of looks like it could be him. Yeah, he was a big guy too. Yeah. Yeah. Only guy I ever seen ride an EUC wearing a kilt. And then he was racing with the kilt. So
Something under that.
yeah,
Under
yeah,
race.
that's what I said. And it was thick material though, but ooh, he took a
Yeah.
shitter, crashed with another guy, and kilt up. And I was like, ooh. And I think he said he just missed his he just missed his nuts and bolts or something. He didn't. I was like, okay. So Quinn says he's excited for the Northwest Electric Fest. You gonna race Marshall? Okay, all right. So that should be a good race. See how you guys do. That dude was Norwegian. He was actually from Canada. I don't know if he was Norwegian, but he rode up from Canada on his bike, on a motorcycle with his EUC strapped to the back of his motorcycle. Like his motorcycle had it was a 2-seater, and he strapped the EUC to the back seat on the motorcycle. And
That's
drove
impressive.
from Canada to Massachusetts. 6-hour ride at least.
Wow.
He said, I'm Cuban, but I only wear kilts. Okay, thus the kilted Cuban. Got you, bro. Do you ride EUC with your kilt, though? That's what I want to know. Let me know. So, what I do want to tell everybody in the chat, for the first time, I want to give a shout out to Next Gen Mobility and Rob for being the newest partner to the Wheel Life Rally. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. He is a partner sponsor in the Wheel Life Rally, and he has been, and I really appreciate it because I know that you don't do a whole lot of events. You don't sponsor a lot of events, but I appreciate the fact that you saw fit to partner with us and sponsor this event because it is something that it means a lot to a lot of people, and it's a very unique event. I really wish that you could get here for the event, and maybe next year or something you'll be able to make it. But having 3 different types of dirt tracks in one venue, and not even knowing how they're going to end up because Rick, the creator, just comes up with tracks like he's a mad genius right before the event. He makes the track on Friday, and he takes the bulldozer and goes through and creates tracks for us through the woods, through the parking lot where it's gravel, and down into this obstacle area where actual dirt bikes ride. But he goes through the drainage tunnel. It's like craziness. It's so wild to watch everybody race.
And how long does it take him to create these tracks?
He does it in a couple hours. Like
That's
he
amazing.
literally, it'll take maybe 3-4 hours tops with the bulldozer. He's a wild man, you know.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. And we'll put up a lot of video this year so we'll give you that firsthand, account of everything that's going on. You'll be able to see what's going on as it happens. Friday night we're having, or Friday afternoon into the evening we're having race camp or rally camp, and we're gonna have Wheelie Brady is gonna be teaching people how to race, and I know most people know how to race, but he'll be giving you some his tips how to find that crazy line on the edge of racing off road, because racing on street and racing off road is two different types. That's for sure. And then we're gonna have Kyle on the one wheel, um, Humbly Savage. So he's gonna be giving some pointers also on Friday night. So then we'll be going to dinner, doing a night ride, then Saturday all day racing, 3 different tracks, mini games, jousting, just some of the most fun you'll ever have.
So explain how the jousting works, because
Uh,
that
it's
sounds quite entertaining.
So we have a foam tipped baton, and you each get one. We put you in a square. We mark out a square so you can't go outside of it, and you have to knock each other off the EUC or the one wheel, depending on who's riding, who's challenging. And they just go at it. You can go around each other, but you can't use your arms and hands to push each other. But you can use the baton to push each other off the wheel. And it makes for some entertaining fun, let me tell you.
That sounds like fun. But what about the standard type of jousting where there's a dividing line and then you
Different.
have...
Yeah. To do that on an EUC, we'd have hospital visits. So
Oh, that's what makes it so much fun. You sign a waiver, of course, and yeah, people might die, but
yeah, but did you die? But did you die? Oh, shouts out to Sensei Vegan in the chat. He says, hi, Cobra. Hi, Rob. Oh, man. What's up, brother? It's good to have. And Vegan has been to all the rallies. He's always there. He'll tell you. As a matter of fact, I could probably pull up a video real quick so you can see what some of the jousting looks like, give you an idea. But it's definitely something that, man, you won't forget it. That's for sure. If you go and do some jousting, you will not forget it. And we did one wheels and we did EUCs. Then we had, for the winners who won each, we had them face each other. So a one wheel faced an EUC.
Oh, nice.
That was interesting. Yeah.
I imagine the EUC probably won, but you
tell
me.
The thing is, I think the EUC ultimately won, but it was a good challenge. And he didn't make it easy. Yeah. Kilta Cuban says, I heard Vegan will be racing the Lynx S. Yeah. Actually, I think he definitely will be racing. But is it a Lynx S or just a Lynx? He said he's definitely coming. Always a fun time. Do you got the S or the regular Lynx? I don't remember which one you have. Let's see. Is this the one?
Well, if it's a Lynx S, then I'm going to be butthurt because I don't think he bought it from me.
Yeah,
kidding.
And you're sending me the Aeon, but afterwards I was like, man, I guess I should have tried the Lynx S. I regretted it.
Both amazing wheels.
Yeah,
but
so I'll do it next time.
Yeah, we got it right here behind me. So
yeah,
one of the last things to pack up is one of the best wheels on earth. So I gotta
on earth. He said on earth, people. But did you hear that? In case you didn't know, booyah, booyah. He said it's one of the best wheels on earth.
Yeah, so I mean, I challenge someone to refute that, and I know that different wheels, different strokes for different folks. I'm sure that you're gonna see 1,000 people in the comment section that are gonna say P6, P6, P6 because it's faster, obviously. Yeah. Or there's the Begode diehards that are gonna say that their stuff is so much better, etc. But in my opinion, the Lynx S is one of the best wheels ever made. Okay. I don't think that's not hard to challenge. Sorry, that's not hard to
make that claim.
Yeah.
No, I mean I've heard great things about the Lynx, period. And Sensei Vegan's on an OG Lynx, by the way. But I did hear that from a lot of people that the Lynx was amazing, and I rode it, and I was like, wow, this is a really good wheel. and I thought it was going to be too small for me.
Mm.
Excuse me. So I was like, I don't know, but I rode someone else's. Like, oh, this is pretty damn good. And um, then I rode um, other wheels, and I'm like, that was pretty good, even though it felt smaller than I would like, but it was powerful, and I could actually sit on it. I was like, I don't know how they made a wheel smaller, and I can still sit on it. I'm like, well, whatever the geometry is, I like it. I definitely
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. And if you like the Lynx, then I mean, you'd love the Lynx S. It's
Yeah,
really the only major differences are a number of quality of life upgrades, if you will, and of course an increase in top speed and torque. So
yeah,
it's more of the same awesomeness that you already know and love
yeah,
on the Lynx. It's just a little bit more to it, you know.
yeah. Okay, so Kilted Cuban says I wanted to put the F-18 up against Real Life Rally. I would love to see somebody on an F-18 and someone on a Lynx S at the rally because I think both of those wheels are really good off road from what I'm understanding, and I'm like it would be amazing. Um, okay, so so Quinn's asking why are there two identical YouTube streams right now? So I'm streaming to Restream, and it allows me to stream to multiple platforms at once. So right now we're streaming to two different YouTube channels, actually three, because I think I put it on my gaming channel too. Also on Twitch and Facebook, if their integration is working right now, because their integration they changed it where you have to go in and start it on Facebook. So sometimes it doesn't work, but I'm streaming the same video to multiple platforms. So if anybody is on something different, they can still catch the video and be able to see it. I didn't want anyone to miss Rob. Uh, Next Gen Mobility needed a lot of light, so I made sure we shine a little light on Rob and Next Gen Mobility.
Oh shucks.
uh, do you have F-18s? Do you have um, a King Song link?
Yeah, yeah. We've got
Okay.
the F-18 in stock, and it's yeah, that's a it's a great wheel. Not gonna lie, it's definitely not nearly as popular as the Lynx S.
No.
But yes, they're very similar wheels, and you're always going to be getting the comparisons between the
Yeah.
F-18 and the Lynx, and really the F-18 it just came really late to the party um, in the 151 volt mid-size wheel zone,
Yeah.
but it's frankly got some of the best lighting I've ever seen. Not some of it has the best lighting I've ever seen on an EUC. And frankly, I don't care about RGB lighting personally one bit.
Yeah.
Between you and me, I think RGB lighting is a gimmick. But I'm talking the headlights on the F-18 are astonishing. Like you do a nighttime trail race, you're probably going to win it just on those grounds alone because you can actually see where you're going.
The F-18's light is that much better?
Yes,
Okay.
I without any sort of doubt, it's great. But I mean, lighting is not necessarily the number one selling point of a wheel. For most people, it's power, size, reliability,
Yeah.
um, spare parts availability, how good the warranty is, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, but it is a very good wheel. I mean, the huge selling point for a lot of people is also the easy motor swap. You can just drop that thing out, change out the tire, or change out the motor if you want, and get back on the road in like 15 minutes without any sort of headaches or hassle. It's pretty great.
So, which one in a race off road would win in your mind?
Ooh.
I know it depends on the rider. So let's say same rider.
Same rider. I would say on the grounds of torque alone, Lynx S. However, the F-18 does have higher pedals, just
Mm.
even on the lowest pedal setting, it's higher than the highest setting on the Lynx S. And that's a big benefit for some people that are doing
Yep.
technical trail riding for
Yep.
sure. Not to say that the Lynx S has low pedals by any means, but when that's an important factor for you when you're doing technical riding, it makes sense that people would choose the F18. And
Yeah.
from a dealer perspective, it is really nice that there's only one variant of the F18. There's not the 62 through 74 pound suspension range that you got to keep 1,000 different variants in stock, and then people
Yeah.
are trying to decide what's
Which
best for me.
one?
Yeah, I weigh 160 pounds and I do mostly street, but I'm thinking about doing some trails. What should I do? Well, with F18, you really don't have that. It's a taller
Yeah.
wheel, taller pedals, um, slightly less refined, but still overall still a very good wheel.
Okay. Pricing wise, what I don't remember what their prices are. Differences between those two.
The Lynx S is 36.99, and the F18 is 3,099. So it's quite a difference in
Six hundred
the price.
dollars.
Yeah,
Ooh.
quite quite the price difference for sure. A lot of it has to do with supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
The and the manufacturers also dictate the pricing
Right.
in accordance with that. But the F18 doesn't have nearly the demand
Right.
that the Lynx S does, and so they have adjusted their pricing accordingly. And they seem like they found a sweet spot at the current
Okay.
place that it's at.
Okay. And and those are both 20-inch wheels, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So that's I mean it's a decent size because that's the sweet spot for me. I like the 20-inch, but the wheel itself. So it's just like the the Xeno. Like it's got the right size tire, but it seems like it doesn't have as much body. So um, and as a matter of fact, we're going to get into that in a second because I wanted to ask you something and give you a chance to explain something about the Xeno. But Roger he says, I have a P6 and a Lynx S. No, Lynx S makes me smile more than the P6. All right, Roger. I see you. Um, and when will Rob be riding a Vesk EUC, I wonder?
Whenever some nice person makes one for me and takes it over to me, you know what? They don't have to take it over to me. I'll ship it over myself. I'm curious. Never ridden a Vesk EUC.
Yeah. Kilted Cuban says it's under the radar. The F-18 is definitely under the radar, but the F-18 has been winning USA, EUC, and amped. Well, I mean, the stats don't lie. He said, I look like Close Encounters of the Third Kind at night. Well, then I definitely would like that wheel. I always put RGB on mine anyway because I don't ride a lot at night, but if I'm going to, I want to look like a UFO. I want to. So he says he has two motors and he can drop and swap in 8 minutes. Why do you
That's
have
fantastic.
two motors?
For funsies, obviously.
Oh, he said one has a street tire and the other has an off road. That's
Yeah,
dope. That's dope.
that is a nice thing. I hope that the other manufacturers copy that and also do that. The initial rollout of the F18 with the hot swappable, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
motors, it was decent, but there were some issues that you may have heard about with the motor bolts ever so slowly backing out, and people found a way to secure it until King Song came up with the fix, and we were able to
Okay.
get fix kits, if you will. But um, so it's now it's a fantastic, very reliable solution to be able to hot swap. It's kind of ingenious, but I'd really like to see other manufacturers also do the same. The Lynx
Mhm.
S, or but really any Leaperkim or Nosfet EUC, that those wheels are very easy to swap out motors and swap out tires to access that, because for a tire swap all you need is to take off one side, and if you know what you're doing you can get off one whole battery side in just a couple minutes or so. So I'd like to see others emulate Kingsong, but for all I know maybe they patented it. If they're smart they did.
Maybe. But honestly, I love when EUC companies look and realize what is working and adopt it. You know,
Right.
like you said, if it hasn't been patented and it's working and makes sense, and the community is saying that this is the right thing because it's working for all the people in the community, I think they should just keep changing, keep progressing. It's such a fluid market, industry rather. Why not just keep going with the upgrades? Don't get stagnant. Every wheel should take time, make it better. Take time, make it better. Don't just iterate for the sake of iteration. And
That's a good point, and that brings me to something that had been on my mind a little bit, is what is the next step in EUC evolution or revolutionary upgrades even? What would push us to the next level? And in my opinion, we're hitting a wall right now with innovation, and there is still some great innovation that's happening and some great new EUCs that are being made, but we can't keep going much further past where we're at, because at the current tech that we're using,
mhm.
because we have a bottleneck with the amount of power that can be delivered in an
Yes,
EUC. And so Inmotion did an awesome thing with their P6, and they cranked everything up to the max, and they absolutely maximized the amount of power that is being output all the way to the batteries and even to the motor. And we've essentially hit that limit. And the
mhm.
only way to progress further beyond that is to use, in my opinion, different batteries. Even the motors themselves are starting to get to their end stage
Mhm.
of advancement, if you will.
Yeah,
So we've got 50S batteries, Samsung 50S, and that's what's the gold standard for years now, because they're reliable.
right.
But we don't want to go back to the days of battery fires of LG 50
No,
amp batteries.
no.
And so all these manufacturers are very, very wary of that, because one single battery fire and your reputation and possibly business is destroyed. And it seems like the battery fire days are behind us, but now we're kind of stuck in a rut of using 50S cells right now. Begode seems like they're trying to innovate in that area more or less. I've seen them put 50 PL batteries in there, which have obnoxious amounts
Mm.
of battery discharge, which you can really, that is the next step. But the problem is, are these 50 PL batteries actually reliable?
Yeah, that's the
We don't know
problem.
yet. We don't know
That's the
yet.
problem. And who's gonna find out? You know what I mean? All I know is after my fall and shoulder getting crushed testing out a new wheel, when they do stuff like change the battery pack to a new battery, it's scary because no one knows what its true reliability is. So somebody has to find out where the line and limit is. And
Right.
honestly, I'll be honest, I don't think we need any more limit. I think that the only thing we need to do is use better battery technology to make these machines lighter and, you know, easier to carry and maneuver like we need to, but we don't need to go any faster. I mean, that's my opinion. I mean, the fact that the P6 can do 90 miles an hour is ridiculous. And I mean, it makes no sense. It really doesn't, because at 70 miles an hour, you're damn near getting blown off unless you're leaning completely. I mean, I just think safety margin is being thrown out the window at that
Well, I want
point.
to hear what Roger has to say.
Okay,
Roger,
so
type of novel because
let's get down to Roger first. Green Master Mike says, "What's up?" Um, he says this F-18 is better bang for the buck than the Xeno. We're gonna talk about that in a second. But Roger says, "I can send you a Vesk M103. Are you interested in his Vesk M103?"
sounds like danger.
Danger, danger, Will Robinson, danger. uh yeah. Oh, Kilted Cuban says Roger swapped the suspension though for the Lynx S and P6, so it wasn't so sweet. um, Vesk, the best you're going to get on one of those is 134 volt right now. That's what Greenmaster Mike is saying. Is that true? We don't have any Vesk more than 134 volt. And if so, I mean, do we really need one?
Yeah, I
Um,
really don't. But Roger says that he totally disagrees with me on tech progress. I'm very curious
okay,
what Roger's thoughts are. But
Roger,
yeah,
what are you thinking? You say you totally disagree on the tech progress. So what are you thinking, Roger? Because you're definitely another guy who we look to when it comes to technical stuff. So what are you saying, Roger? Let us know. Um,
maybe I should clarify what I'm really trying to get at is there's only so much power and so much that you're able to ride putting between your legs. In order to get more power right now, you're going to have to add more battery cells and a larger motor and the weight or a more powerful motor somehow. And how do you do that? Well, right now, our next step in that progress would be higher discharge battery cells. So, say for example, the Nosfet Aero or the Nosfet Eon, fantastic wheels in my opinion, very popular wheels.
yeah,
They just when you're going fast, their batteries are in a 2P configuration, and so when you're going fast, you're going to be getting more voltage sag than you would with higher discharge battery cells. And so, with that also being said, if you can reduce the amount of the voltage sag, you're able to get a whole lot more performance out of it. Say you can get a the Leaperkim Lynx S, for example, 2,700 watt hours between your legs in battery. If you're able to put 50 PL battery cells in there. I don't remember how fast those discharge, but it's obnoxious. And then you're able to pump out that much more power if the motor is able to handle it. And that's actually a limitation that people are finding out with the P6 right now. People are saying that it's getting too hot.
mm.
There's people that are saying that the P6 is overheating here and there. Generally, those people are the crazy high speed riders because they're utilizing all
uh-huh.
of that power that the P6 has to offer. They're hitting the upper limits of
Mhm.
even the P6.
And they're
And
using that power a lot. They're not giving it
yes,
breaks. They're
they're
using it a
holding
lot.
that speed.
Yeah.
And congratulations to those people.
Well,
I
here's your
just,
boy Roger. He
yeah,
says motor tech is going crazy right now. Axial flux motors and high discharge, high capacity cells are going to lead to wheels with more range, power, and speed with less weight. And he says right now he has a 168 volt Vesk. He said it was
okay.
custom made. Go ahead,
So let me address all this then.
go for it.
Yes, Roger is is correct on all of those things. What my statement was more specifically addressing is in the official EUC industry, because EUC manufacturers don't want, they're risk averse. They don't want to go back to the days of battery fires or random cutouts. And so they're hesitant to try something that is new tech that is unproven, especially certain companies like Nosfet and Leaperkim. I I messaged Sen, their head of R&D, one of the owners. I think he's one of the owners at Nosfet, and I was like, "Hey, hear me out." I suggested, I can't remember what they're called, Reliance or RS50, something like that, batteries. I can't remember off the
Yeah.
top of my head. I,
RS60. Roger's saying in the chat also.
yeah, I was like, these batteries look awesome. It looks like they're reliable. What do you say? And they're like, we really want to, but what happens if there is a problem with like the Eve 50 PL batteries, the pre-production ones? They had a major parasitic battery drain problem. And
Mm.
apparently that company doesn't have the greatest reputation in terms of reliability already. And so I don't know if the production ones are actually good and reliable. And these companies just don't want to make that leap when they know that the tech that they have is reliable. So you have certain companies like Begode that will just, let's just try it, let's see how it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe they'll put it in mass production, maybe they won't, maybe it'll be reliable, maybe it won't, but
Hmm.
they're going to give it a try. But then there's other companies, even Inmotion, um, is risk averse in that way. They kind of threw caution to the wind a little bit with the P6, and it seems like it's paid off for them. It seems like the P6 is pretty successful for them, I think.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know the numbers,
The
but
the only problem with the P6, and Roger touches on it here, is the P6 motor isn't efficient. I know that I rode it and I was riding, and I wasn't doing 70, but I was, in the 50s, and I realized that it had less range than I thought it was going to because it's not very efficient. It eats through the battery fast. So when
so
you're using that power, you notice that you have less range than you thought you would have.
I had a discussion with Albert from InMotion
Mm-hmm.
about this specific thing where people were saying that it's not as efficient as they expected.
Mm-hmm.
And he explained to me, and I'm going to try to regurgitate this the best that I can, but expect me to mess it up. Basically, he was saying that every electric unicycle has a PWM sweet spot,
Mm-hmm.
and the P6's sweet spot is a bit higher. It's designed to be going a bit faster in general. So, say for example, you've got a Sherman L, significantly lower voltage by comparison,
Right.
and a smaller motor, less powerful. Its PWM sweet spot is in a lower speed region. But as you know, when you're going really fast, it's also going to eat more battery. So the P6 is designed to go fast kind of all the time. And so it's most efficient at higher speeds. I can't remember what speed he said, but somewhere between like 35 and 50 miles an hour, something like that. But even then, at 35 to 50 miles an hour, if you're consistently going that speed, you're not going to be getting 100 miles out of it. Say, for example, you go on the Master Pro, the ye old Master Pro at
Mm-hmm.
134 volts. You're going to be able to go over 100 miles if you're sticking around 20, 25 miles an hour, because the PWM sweet spot range is in a lower bracket. So
Right.
I hope that made
No,
sense. It
no,
mostly
I
made sense. Just explained to me.
I get what you're saying, but the problem is even in that range, like I said, I was traveling within that range. Well, I was a little higher. I was, like I said, I was in the 50s, 55, 56, 57. Um, somewhere in there for most of the trip. And although it felt great because having all that headroom is just intoxicating. Um,
Yeah.
you keep getting up to high 50s easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was surprised. I was like, man, I think I'm only gonna get like 40 something miles out of this thing. I'm like, wow. I'm a fat ass, but damn, I'm like that's I thought I was gonna get more like 60, 70 miles out of it, and I wasn't getting that. I didn't have it that long, so I can't really say. But we were all banging on it. I was doing like 50 something, but everybody else was. One guy was doing 58. Everybody was speed run, speed run, speed run,
Yeah.
speed run. Then we went out on a ride.
Yeah.
So
Or Roger's
um,
saying he rode 75 to 80 miles an hour GPS with the motor still barely feeling warm on the X Max, and his P6 can cook eggs after a few minutes of pushing.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's what he was saying earlier. That the X Max controller is a lot better. Is going to be a lot better. Um,
I'm curious how that'll turn out. I mean, I don't sell Begode anymore. Wash my hands of them. But we'll see how they compare. To bring it back to my discussion with Albert, I I specifically asked him about the complaints about overheating and compared that to the X Max, and his his response over text was it almost sounded dismissive, but then I was like, we should talk about this more. So then we talked about it, and he explained in full, and it really gave me a more complete understanding of why the P6 gets so hot and other certain wheels do not. And he explained that the primary reason is that the P6 has a lot higher power motor than the X Max, and people are using it basically. Um, Whereas the X Max is more of a high torque motor, the
mm,
P6 is a more of a high speed motor, and so, for all I know, in on some track races, I think you can definitely still expect, if people are going to be getting to the upper regions of the speed, you're probably still going to be seeing the P6 come out on top when it comes to max speed. But
mm-hmm.
with the X Max, it may beat the P6 in terms of torque or acceleration. It's really hard to say. But I mean, it was to go back to the heat thing, that was the explanation. Is basically it has a um, lot higher power motor, and people are using it to its fullest potential, more or less. That is horribly paraphrased, and I apologize to Albert if he watches this and says I misquoted horribly.
Well, I mean, the good thing is, you know, people are still using it. Like Roger said, I'm still using my P6 to race this year. The software wins the races.
Yeah.
But I would like if Begode does put the X Max in a lot of racers' hands. I would really like to see the X Max and the P6 go head to head. You know, I'd like
Well,
to
I
see
mean,
that.
we're finally going to be seeing it. We have a couple of TEF1 races coming up. We got one on the East Coast, and we've got one coming. I think the one on the East Coast is like in August, something along that line. And then we have the next TEF1 race in the West Coast in Sonoma, in California. Honestly, about an hour away from me right now. I'm looking forward to that one. I'll be there. But we're going to be seeing the X Max, I'm sure, put head to head against the P6 on both of those tracks. So
Mm.
that'll be interesting. But something else to consider is Inmotion kind of has all of the really, really, really awesome racers. I wouldn't say all, that's not true. Sorry, Roger, you're still great. We all love you. Um, but Inmotion has a lot of sponsored racers, like top tier guys
And Rogers,
that,
it's funny. Rogers always right in the mix there with them. I love
yeah,
seeing it.
yeah. Another wild card that is not Inmotion sponsored is Show Scott.
Yep,
Hopefully, we'll see him riding.
show's
I'm
amazing.
I'm curious to see how he performs. He did awesome in the last Sonoma Tef 1 race, but
Mm-hmm.
at the final race, he wobbled out on the race, which cost him the race. And talk about sportsmanship. He got back on. He didn't just rage quit. He got back
Yeah.
on and continued racing in the final race, and I believe he did not finish last, which is pretty impressive.
Oh,
But
I give
good.
I give Show a lot of credit. He raced at Amped. Was it 2 years ago? Either two or three times flying, but and he fell, scraped
Mhm.
his entire back up. I mean, skin everywhere. I'm like, or lack of skin now. And I was like,
Right.
and he still put his gear back on, and he was still up and at him. I was like, I probably would have tapped out. I don't know. I'm just saying, a high speed fall in a race situation is tough. But
Yeah,
that's
I'd
why
be
they
I'd
are
be
who they
out of
are.
boundary. Yeah, I'd be like, nope, I got a boo boo. I'm
Right?
done.
Yeah, that was more than a boo boo, man. My man left a yard of skin. I was like, yo. Um, EUC Chronicles, my man, Flip. What's up, brother? I ain't talked to you in a minute. Yo, good to see you, brother. Glad you in here. You know, um, Inmotion. This is Kilter Cuban says Inmotion cheats and has the second, third, and fourth racers block other fast racers. I might have heard something about that. I'm not gonna say anything.
I'd like now. I
uh,
want to know what you think. I want to know your genuine thoughts on it. You really
um,
gonna hold out on us?
you gonna put me on the spot like that, Rob? Okay,
How about I give my thoughts on it, and then
okay, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
you don't have to take a side. Okay. Um, are they blocking other racers? I don't know. I find it would be very challenging to do so. Is it possible? Did they potentially discuss that ahead of time? Maybe. I can definitely see that being the case. I I had a discussion with one of the guys who organizes Tef 1 to say, hey, there's this discussion going on about it, and personally, I feel like it's not okay for there to be teams that have comms with each other, so you can
Yeah,
collude to do that, um, and they were receptive to it. I suggested a rule change and say, hey, no comms. You
yeah.
can physically remove a cardo from your helmet, and so that would be a good way to make sure it's happening.
Stop
Because
them
if
from
it's
doing that.
because if it's a team of riders versus a bunch of individuals, that's not fair. But is that happening? I,
Well,
I you know.
I can say that I did hear one of the racers say on that team, and I can't remember who it was talking about the fact that if one of them is in the lead and they basically just status quo it, so
Mhm.
they don't try to outrace each other.
I don't
And
like that. One of the racers, one of the Inmotion racers said that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Ooh, that's an
mm-hmm,
admission right there.
mm-hmm.
I
And
don't
I
like
said,
that.
well, if that's the case, and I think it was someone was asking him that. He said, well, we don't, it's not like we're stopping people from passing. It's just, we don't really pass each other, and I was like, whoa, that means you're picking who's winning, and if you're not passing and you're staying back along with the other racers, then that's kind of blocking. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I,
know.
I can see that. And making it a team versus a group of individuals racing is definitely it's not fair. But how do you break that up and how do you enforce it? I mean, it really is hard to enforce that sort of thing. I just don't know how they would address that specifically because you can say, yeah, there's 5 people and they're all racing in a line, but are they really blocking? Do you disqualify all of them? Do you penalize all of them?
Right.
Are they really blocking, or is it just how the race is turning out? It's really
Well,
hard to.
right, differentiate. But
Yeah,
I guess my thought is, as long as you cut their comms, they can race. Will do whatever they want. You know what I mean? As long as they don't have comms and they're coordinating their effort real time, it's just a race. You know, if you come by me and you're trying to pass me, I can try and make it so you can't pass me. Call it blocking, whatever you want. I'm racing you, and I don't want you to get by. I can cut over and stop you, and you got to get around me. I mean,
yeah,
I know it makes it dangerous, and I know that a lot of the guys are like, well, if somebody's got a clear lane, I just let them go so we don't crash. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, well, I get that too, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
Roger's saying that he knows all those guys, and that is BS. I mean, I'm curious what Roger
yeah.
thinks.
So Roger, you've never heard them say that. I don't remember who it was, but I could have swear I heard someone in I don't know if it was an interview or a chat with someone.
Mhm.
Um, oh, okay. So now we got Project Anakin here, which is Grills, I believe. I can't imagine an X Max winning winning in New Jersey the circuit if opened up fully runs just too fast. Smaller circuits maybe depends who's riding really. We'll see. Grills, I've been trying to reach you, brother. Can you please reach out to me? I need to talk to you. I've been trying to. Um, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. You know, F1's coming up, so. Um, oh, Green Master Mike said, come down to AVS, Rob. Um, have you been down to AVS?
I've been to the AVS track once during the one of the Marty SoCal tours. The last one is, if I'm not mistaken, but that was just for a
But
track day.
not during AVS.
Correct, not for
Oh,
an
okay.
AVS EUC race. Roger says
Um,
they fight to beat each other even if they are on the same team.
mm-hmm.
Okay, I will take your word for it because I don't have any other.
Well,
I don't have the ability to argue either way. So
I know pretty much all of them, and if I know Roger races with them all the time. So if Roger's saying that, I'm gonna take Roger's word for it. Um, but I did hear that, and I did hear someone, and I wish I could remember where it was, but it was one of them talking about it, and I was like, oh boy, okay. And you know what? It might have been someone else saying it and making them answer, and huh?
someone accusing them, basically.
I think someone was asking them directly, and their answer was, "Well, I can't." They were saying that that's not what the design was, but that it's kind of what happens, you know.
Yeah,
But I can't even remember who said it. It was so long ago. But again, Rogers races with those guys all the time, and he's saying that's BS. That's not the case. So I'm gonna go on Roger's word because I trust Roger more than most people I even know. So if Roger says it's the case, I'm gonna go with you, Raj. I'm gonna say that then that's not the case, and that's not how they like things. They like to do things.
mm.
Um, so I'm gonna back off that statement.
But let me just raise this question. We don't need to continue beating a dead horse, really. But if they're not a team, if they are all truly, it's a free for all. Why do they have comms in the first place? What's the use of it?
Well, that a lot of the races don't let them have comms, so they already stopped them from having that.
Hmm.
It depends on the race,
Okay,
you know. So
just seems like it would be an unnecessary thing if it truly is a free for all, type of race. But what do I know?
yeah.
I'm just
Well,
going off of information and
Turbo's in
opinions.
the house. What's up, Turbo? Turbo says, yeah, no, they don't let each other go. They fight for it. Okay. That's two racers saying that they don't do that, that they do fight for it. So um Roger said I did comms with Brian and Aaron. It is fun. I bet you three on comms is a fucking riot.
Yeah,
Roger says
just
I
for only just banter.
yeah.
Hey, why not?
Roger says I still try to win. Okay, so Rob, I want to get into some questions about a couple EUCs, but first I want to
Sure.
see if I can show you this. I believe if I pull it up on the screen, you should be able to see it. I want to see if I go here. There you go. Can you see that?
I see your face.
That's all you see? You don't see the video?
Well, maybe the viewers can, but I'm unable
You
to.
can't. Okay. Do you have another device with you that you can pull it up?
Yeah,
Pull it
just
up
got to
with
mute it.
something else.
There we
Cause
go. Now I see it. Yep.
all right, so I'm gonna play this jousting. It's just a little clip of it. Um, oh, what the hell? That is not it. It went back. There we go. All right. So you see the idea that you can just push each other off. That's the EUC of one wheel right there. And Colin he lost his balance instantly. That was this was a terrible year, this one, because it wasn't a lot of. I guess this was them getting the idea, and then the next year people came ready. They were like, ready to battle each other. But that's the idea.
Yeah.
You see the foam tip batons.
Yeah.
So they're not going to cause, you're not going to go to the hospital, but you're just going to try and keep your balance and shove the other guy off. That's basically what we do in jousting. And you can only ride, like I said, we cordon off an area so you don't have the ability to go round and round all wild. You have to stay in tight.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, just so you know, because I know I've talked about it.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask about was the newest wheel, the Xeno.
Yes.
I wanted to ask. It's a 20-inch wheel. Oh, hold on, real quick. I see Greenmaster Mike. August 8th, Greenmaster Mike. The Wheel Life Rally is coming up. August 8th. It's really close. So the 7th, we're having a race camp, and then the 8th is the race day, and then you can stay till Sunday and leave Sunday morning. Yeah. So the Xeno. What is the big reason why people are going to want the Xeno?
The Xeno it occupies a very unique category that we haven't really seen for years now. The Xeno has relatively similar specs to the Kingsong S22 Pro, and in fact, it's significantly more powerful. Yet it has very similar specs. In fact, dare I say, it has inferior specs to the S22 Pro because it has a lower rated power on the motor, but that's only something on paper. It's actually quite a bit more powerful than the S22 Pro because Nosfet is not embellishing their numbers. So a 2,500 watt motor is what matches reality, and it's able to go. I've heard people are able to go up to about 50 miles an hour on it, maybe even a touch more, which is really impressive, especially considering the top speed I've heard people are hitting on the Patent S is about 50 miles an hour, and with 500 watts less rated on the Xeno motor, people are able to hit the same speeds or even a touch higher than that.
Okay.
So I've heard a lot of people say that this is a great beginner EUC because it's not that heavy, yet you're able to continue using it well after you've learned how to ride. Personally, I think it's a great wheel. It's a almost grab and go size. It's
Mm-hmm.
oh, sorry, not size. it's full size, like almost Lynx S size, but it's so ridiculously light that it just makes it fun. It makes it
Yeah.
playful. It's very capable of doing almost everything. But there's some complaints that have made the Xeno not quite as successful. Not It's not generating as much excitement with some people in the English speaking community.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's an interesting caveat.
Hmm.
Only in the English speaking community, it's not generating as much excitement. Number one, the big gap in the rear. It's a beautiful, amazing looking wheel, but it is very difficult to mount pads on it. And
Yeah.
so, being this is genuinely a performance EUC for its size class. I'm not going to go crazy and say it has the performance characteristics of a Lynx S or a P6, but for its weight, it's very, very high performance. And so with that, people are expecting it to be able to access all that performance, and
Mm-hmm.
having pads makes it easier to do so. I mean, everybody knows you don't need pads to ride, but it sure is nice. So um, then the other complaints that people were having was the trolley handle, but it's getting strengthened, and in the production ones they're going to have that. But it seems like some people on YouTube were not too thrilled about those couple of things. But beyond that, it's got glowing reviews. I've ridden it. I reviewed
Yeah.
it. It's
I saw your
amazing.
video. Pretty good. So
I,
what is the price on the Xeno? I forgot.
it's $3,000 US,
I think that's a
and
great deal. Kilted Cuban says I just can't get my head around the price tag of the Xenomorph. I'm like 3,000 seems like a great deal to me. I mean, for a 20-inch, you know, I don't know.
what I can say is that you really do get what you're paying for with Nosfet products. They genuinely are, in my experience, the most reliable brand above every other brand out there.
Hmm.
I just don't have issues. Like, they
So
just
you
don't have.
so you put Nosfet above Leaperkim in quality and
Yes. Well,
dependability.
I wouldn't say in quality. They're very similar quality. They get a lot of their parts from the same suppliers,
Okay.
but and it's common for people to say they're the same company, but they're not. But they do get similar parts they get their parts from similar factories or some of the same locations, and so it stands to reason that they're going to have relatively similar levels of reliability. But call it luck of the draw, if you will. They just Certain things have less failures. Their motherboards, I think, are made by the same people. I don't know. I think they are, but just magically, the way they're designed, they seem to have even less failures you know than Leaperkim products. Their
Okay.
suspension is amazing. It performs very well, but also we don't get complaints and reports of the suspension having the seals bust, or having a noisy suspension or whatever. It just works, and it works long term. It's very impressive. And yes, failures happen with every EUC brand, even the most reliable ones. But Nosfet and Leaperkim have a very personal level of quality control, where they're small companies. But with like Begode, for example, they make a large batch of unicycles, and to my understanding, they hire temp workers to do the assembly and QC. Well, what happens to that temp worker once if they make a big mistake and they do something wrong? There's less consequence to it. So you're just there for a few weeks or however long it takes to manufacture that batch, and then you're gone. And with Nosfet and Leaperkim, they have dedicated personnel there whose job it is to do the assembly and to do the quality control and sign their stamp on every single different category for that serialized checklist to say yes, yay, verily, I checked this, I did this is operational, and then they do a test ride on it. Yes, failures again still can and do happen from time to time, but a vast majority of them are caught before they leave the factory. And so they have a ridiculously low, almost zero number of dead on arrival units. In fact, with Nosfet and Leaperkim, I've had zero dead on arrival units since I've begun selling their products, which is pretty amazing.
That is amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Green Master Mike says the F-18 is faster, better suspension, speakers, and same price or cheaper depending if you go with next gen mobility, maybe. So, what would be a reason to get the Xeno instead of the F-18?
If you're looking for something lighter, uh, if you're looking for something that's lightweight and something a bit smaller, something that may be a bit more beginner friendly, something that has a little bit lower pedals. The F-18 has really high pedals. If you're looking for something that has, frankly, in my opinion, probably better resale value, if that's ever going to be something that's on your mind, then I would probably go with the Xeno. If you're going for something that's strictly for street riding, sorry, for trail riding, then I would probably recommend the F-18. Higher pedals, it has a little bit more power. I would reckon that they have similar. I wouldn't say similar. They both have all the power that you will need for almost any trail, but that extra pedal height does go a long way for some of the technical stuff. So the F-18 might be a better choice in that regard. But the F-18 really isn't that much faster than the Xeno. I mean, the F-18 it'll start beeping like crazy in the 50s, and the Xeno can hit about 50 miles an hour. It's pretty similar. So I don't know if I'm reaching for a wheel that I don't need to go 30 miles away on, or I don't need to go, you know, crazy fast. I'm probably going to choose the lighter weight wheel, something that you can just choose. I don't know. You just pick a lighter weight, the lightest weight wheel that you can for the job, and that's kind of where my mentality is at. What do you think?
Well, a lighter wheel is great, but I'm heavy. So I think I'm more of a big wheel guy. Yes, I like the light wheel. I want a wheel that, and I guess that could be like the big boys grab and go wheel. You know what I mean? I don't know, and that's why I want to check it out and see if it's something I'd be interested in. I do have an A2, and I kind of want to replace it as my small wheel. I need something a small wheel that's still good for me. The A2
Mhm.
works, but I don't really want to be riding that thing. No suspension, small. I want something small and light, but not that rugged.
Right.
So I guess it depends on what you're talking. And if we're talking about hitting trails and stuff, um, I think I want to go with more power and torque still, even though I don't want more speed. I want more power and torque, something that's better off road. Something better for the job. Now, if I'm on the street and I'm doing, I'm just street riding, I would probably say the F-18 because it has the lights, it has a little more power, a little more speed.
Sure.
Um, I don't know. I guess, but the Xeno has the look. It has the amazing look. Like there's nothing like Nosfet wheels, that's for sure. Um, and thanks again. I didn't mention that, but thanks to Rob and Next Gen. he's sending a the Eon for me to test out. The Xeno is already out and about, and other guys are testing that, so I didn't have that opportunity. But the Eon will be my first Nosfet test wheel. I haven't tested any of their wheels as far as having it here for the big guy review. So I'm gonna lay the hammer on it and see if it can handle the big guy. We'll see. um, but I like the beauty of it. So I don't know. I guess if I had to choose between them two, I'd have to ride them and find out. Um, Lightweight, there's a lot to be said about it. When you're going to pick it up and throw it somewhere, put it in the car, take it upstairs, you definitely want that lightweight wheel. And it seems like that's the wheel. If I was traveling, I would rather that one for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, you pick out like the Arrow or the Eon sometimes when you're camping, but the Xeno, if you got the space for it, you might as
mhm.
well grab that one, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
they're all stellar. They all have their own niches, but I'm finding that I fell in love with the Arrow, and in perfect chronological order, I fell in love with the Eon, and I was like, oh, I like this one even more. And then I get on the Xeno, and I'm like, this thing's my favorite. So maybe I'm just attracted to shiny new things. You never know.
I'm with you. I am the shiny new thing guy. Like people are like, "Why do you have another?" I'm like, I don't know. I just like shiny new stuff. Oh, I missed Grill's comment. He said the Apex is the highest quality EUC ever built, in my opinion, next to the Russians SV. I felt like the Apex needed too much tuning to get right for anybody. Who I felt like everybody I knew that owned one had to do a bunch of stuff to make it their own, like even more than other EUCs. Like, what did you feel about the Apex?
I loved the Apex. My time writing it was actually I was borrowing it from James before he passed away. It was his personal wheel, and
Mm-hmm.
so I reviewed that. He threw on a Shinko 244 tire, kept it tubeless, and I was in love. It was it was kind of weird because I found that I was able to go the fastest, most comfortably with the suspension in the highest possible setting, and because it just felt more floaty. And a lot of people would think that you bring the suspension all the way to the lowest setting
Mm-hmm.
and you have a real low center of gravity. You're practically racing. It's for me. It was the other way around. I was like, I love just feeling like I can go over potholes
Yeah,
at 50 miles an hour
that's
without
most
any.
important.
Yeah. So I love it, but I think that we can all kind of agree that the Apex was not a commercial success,
No.
and so um, I it's my understanding that they discontinued it not because it's a bad wheel at all. In fact, it's a stellar wheel. I was in love with it, but because in order to make more piece or not P6s to make more Apexes, they need to order more parts, and they
Mm-hmm.
have plenty of parts for warranty needs, but they will also need all these other different parts in order to assemble full units. So because it wasn't that successful, it's starting to show its age a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
they're they're putting an end to that. And you know what? People have been saying, "Oh, Apex 2 is coming out any day now." And then comes out. Totally not an Apex 2. But you know what? Maybe they'll release a new Apex someday.
The
Don't
Apex S.
don't take this as a hint because I truly don't know.
Okay.
They're not telling me these things. I genuinely think right now they're just focusing on the Xeno, and their R&D department is assuredly working on future wheels, but I have no idea what those wheels are. They actually
Okay.
don't. wheelers nearly as much as you might think. I know about a couple wheels that are coming up that I'm not going to talk about, but
Come
from
on, Rob, give us something.
I'll
Come
give you a hint.
on.
I'll give you a hint. Every upcoming EUC that's not yet announced that I'm aware of has one single wheel and one tire, but they're together. That's all I can tell you though.
Oh boy, that was about as helpful as, as I don't even want to say. Oh. All right. Well, just to sing your praises real quick, Green Master Mike says my arrow that I bought from Rob has been the best small wheel I've ever owned. I haven't done one thing to it since I've bought it, nothing, and I've had zero issues 2 years now. Bravo, bravo to Next Gen Mobility, Rob, and the arrow from Nosfet. What a great, great choice. Um,
Yep.
so Matt Burt destroyed its reputation, but it's won more off-road races in its time than any other wheel. He's talking about the Apex again, or in its
Yeah,
class. Yeah,
yeah. Apex, it truly is. Again, it's a awesome wheel. It
I
did.
guess
I don't know if he specifically destroyed its reputation, but he was very very harsh on it.
it was.
I'm not going to comment necessarily about the fairness of it. I think that he tried to be fair with it, but he had issues with it,
Yeah,
and that definitely hurt its commercial success. And as a YouTuber, you definitely have a lot more power than you might think when you're making reviews.
right.
And yeah, the Apex did indeed has more regular routine maintenance requirements than what most people come to expect. Like with certain wheels, say honestly, the Aero, Eon, Xeno, even Leaperkim, most of all of their wheels, it's like you just have hydraulic shocks and that's it. And you set it and forget it, and you don't have to even change the oil sometimes ever. I personally recommend about
I
every
love it.
3,000 miles, but that's it. That's all you got to do is one.
I love the hydraulic suspension. I think it's a game changer, and I really don't want a wheel without it. I still have a couple that you know. Yeah, you see, he said, "What do you use to shave your head clean?" I use a razor to shave mine clean. So I'm a,
I have a
I'm a
terrible, amazing story for you to tell the world.
go
This
ahead.
is so bad. I want hair. Just to be clear, I want my hair back, but I'm blonde and I'm going bald, which sucks. I've tried Rogaine and I did that and it worked great until it irritated my scalp and I gave up with it. But do you know what the Chinese manufacturers call me? They
Well,
don't call me Rob. That's not a Chinese name. Oh no, I don't know what the Chinese word is for it. My name is Baldy to them. That's just my name. And apparently, Afiz over at E-Rides,
E-Rides,
their
yep.
yeah, their name for him is Little Black Guy, or whatever the Chinese term is for that. Only way I found out about this was because I was having a phone call with Jack at Nosfet, and also I was talking with their one of the guys at Leaperkim, or rather he was talking in Chinese, and I was using Google Translate to so I could figure out what they're saying. And I keep seeing on my phone something about Baldy, 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 and I'm like, they're talking about me. How dare they? But the answer is Oster Classic 76. That's what I use to cut my hair. I use
Say
a
that
one.
again.
An Oster Classic 76.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how he gets his head clean, people. So, I was about to say the hydraulic suspension has been a game changer for me. I absolutely love it. My Sherman L. First my Sherman S. Now my Sherman L. Love those wheels. They're amazing because I said it and never thought about it again. I also have ET Max, which I love the speed. I love how heavy that wheel is. So that to that point about light wheels, and it depends on the wheel. The ET Max is a tall, thinner, heavy wheel. So when I lean forward on it, the weight helps me crank the speed out, and it takes off. And actually, I take it back. I think that's the wheel I did 58 on. Um, it just I love that speed, but it has the older suspension still, so you have to worry about the air suspension and figuring all that out. I have an X-Way. I have barely ridden my X-Way, and I love that wheel because it's like a goat. It can climb anything. I had so much fun off road in China with the X-Way. It was my favorite time on the X-Way. But now here, when I go to ride it, I got, oh, wait, I got to put air. I went out and I had a whole video of me out riding it in the woods, and I forgot to put enough air in the suspension. And the tire was a little low. The suspension was low. I was all jacked up, and I didn't have a pump. So I was like, see, this is what I mean. I hate getting caught because I have to edit and adjust my suspension every time I ride it.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love that wheel, and I'm looking for something to replace it torque wise. So that's why I was looking at the Xeno, but I don't know that's going to be able to be my off road. And I mean, knowing how good the X Way is off road, what would you say is a good replacement for it?
Oh man, that's
With,
such a
with,
hard question to
with
answer because
great torque.
the thing about the X-Way is I liked that wheel, but I never personally fell in love with it. Um, I found myself rather frustrated with the lack of its ability to go the speed that I wanted it to because it's a very torque wound motor.
Yes. Yes.
And so if you're wanting to go on trails, then absolutely that's what it's made for.
Yep.
And but it's just a matter of personal opinion. Each rider likes certain things. I like the way that like Nosfet, Leaperkim, and now Inmotion wheels, the way their pedals behave, where there's a very fine adjustability to it. And so, for example, if you have soft pedals, the pedals they lean forward when you lean forward, and then they go back pretty quickly. And I really love that. Whereas there's many people that are Begode types that will
Mm-hmm.
you lean forward, and then when you want to lean back, it just kind of slowly rocks back. And also the opposite is true. You're going fast, and then all of a sudden you want to slam on your brakes, and then your pedals are in an upward position kind of for a while. And if you want to go fast again forward, you really got to add more to it. It's just that is not me. I don't really like that. Some people like it,
I like
but
it flat though. I like when I want to go fast, I have to push. I want it to I want to I don't like the soft mode responsive flippity dippity. I don't like that. That scares the shit out of me cuz I feel like the wheel is doing way too much. I want the wheel to only do what I want it to do. I don't want it to do its own flowy flippity doodah shit. So
yeah,
that scares me. Like I got on a wheel that was in soft mode and I went, oh, I almost fell just because someone put it in soft mode and I didn't know. And I said, no, no, I hate soft mode. But that's just me. You're right, it's a
yeah.
preference. But
But you
someone
can
in the
add more
chat says
power.
that the Lynx S would be a good replacement for it. Do you think the Lynx S would be a good replacement for the X Way if I were going to go a different route?
I would say easily, yeah. If you're looking for just a trail exclusive wheel,
Torque. Yep.
and you want crazy torque, then the Lynx S, it can't be beat. I mean,
Okay.
if you put them both on a dyno, I don't know which one would come out as having the most torque, but the Lynx S has stupid torque and everybody agrees it can go fast and it has crazy torque. It can do everything, and that's why it's so popular. Plus,
Okay.
it's, it's just reliable. It just works.
That's what that's Apple for me. It just works. So I get it. I get it. So okay, I think the Lynx S. Then I was like I said, I wished I really want to try the Xeno. Really, 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 really want to try the Xeno. I'm hoping somebody has one at the rally. The Eon is on its way. Should be here Monday from you, so I know that I'll be able to try that. Um, but because it has a smaller tire, that's gonna be more of a smaller grab and go kind of thing for me. You know,
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't think I'll be doing no off roading with it, but we'll see.
you're welcome to have fun with it. I mean, that's what it's for. But for technical off road, especially for a big guy, the Eon is probably not going to be.
Yeah,
It's definitely not going to be your first choice,
yeah.
and you know
That's
that.
and that's
Go
what I
right.
figured. That's what I figured.
Yeah,
But the Xeno, I definitely wanted to try that, and the Lynx S. I'm excited to try someone's Lynx S and see how that goes. I'm sure we'll have some Lynx S's at the rally, so I'll
yeah,
get to
I'm
try
sure.
that. So, but yeah, man, I'm really glad that we were able to partner up. Once again, I appreciate what you're doing. I'm glad that things are working out in your favor, and you're able to have a new facility. And I can tell the excitement in your eyes. I can tell how anxious you are to get everything under your new roof and get yourself situated over there. So I pray that everything goes smoothly and well for you. And I wish you good luck and Godspeed when it comes to all your endeavors. And I hope that you continue to push and help the community as you have been. And my favorite thing is to have access to those that we purchase wheels from. So I appreciate you coming on the show, letting people have access to you and be able to talk to you. It makes people feel more comfortable about giving their money to you for these wheels. And it's a thing that people ask me a lot when it comes to reaching out to distributors. So I take my hat off to you as a military man and as a supporter of our industry. I thank you for what you're doing. And as a supporter, now a partner of the Wheel Life Rally, I super thank you for what you're doing. And yes, I was able to get your logo on the back of the jersey, so it looks
Woo!
dope. And it's gonna be, those should be, they're on their way now.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely happy that things are working out. Is there anything that you want to say in parting to the people that have been watching and who will rewatch this later?
Oh, well, if I had more time to think about it, I probably would have had something really awesome to say. But coming up with something clever in the moment is not my forte. So thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me uh, talk your ear off about all these silly things. But I don't really have much else to say other than thanks for listening and talking back and forth.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that you always have my ear. Anytime you want to talk anything through, a lot of people in the community reach out to me and ask me all kinds of questions. So I will, I look forward to being able to have an open conversation with you and give them good answers.
Yeah.
For everybody out there, I am just joining the Next Gen affiliate club. So I'll have a link for you guys to go ahead and order and show your support for not only Black Cobra, but the Wheel Life Rally and Next Gen Mobility. So shouts out to everybody who takes a peek at this. Keep riding, stay safe, and please don't do dumb shit. Just please ride responsibly. If not just for you, then for the guy next to you and for all the rest of us who want to keep riding for many years to come. All right.
Yes.
I appreciate all of you. And good night from your man Cobra and Rob. Take it
Good
easy,
night.
guys. I hope that everybody has a great night. All right.